Black and ugly as ever, I stay Houston down to my socks. This is, in my humble opinion, podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Avery Like a Very Nice Guy, also known as Avery Zaddius, AveryZaddius. You can find me on Instagram, but you probably follow me already. And I'm with my brother, the co-host, Jess Devon.
That's me, but I don't have no special spelling on my name or nothing like that. It's just Dr. Douglas, and that's it. Like, that's it. Like, nothing.
We got nigga has no energy, but fair enough.
Yeah, you're
right.
I'm energyless.
it's cool. Anyway, what's been going on with you, brother?
Man, nothing. Chilling.
Nothing.
Just trying to, you know what I'm saying? Just get in and out of this work week, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Hopefully things will relax on this whole COVID stuff, and eventually we can just get back in the studio.
That's true.
Yeah.
The gyms are open, and it's like they never closed because the particular gym I go to, they say that they're going to be at 30%. That's not 30%.
I mean, my whole thing is about with most of that stuff is like, they be like, yo, we going to be at such and such percentage. Is somebody standing at the door, like counting? Like, it ain't, you know, it is what it is, man. People gonna show up. That's all that is.
No, you got to go pretty early in the morning in order to, you know, alleviate having to deal with all those people. But yeah, you're right. Who's standing at the door? We went to Papado's, what was that, a couple of weeks ago. Is that 30%? I don't know, because I hate going to a restaurant and they're like, we're going to set the tables like, 6 feet apart. Now, I know 6 feet is not that far, but when they sit, like, if the restaurant's starting to get a little bit packed and they sit a table close to you, that I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah, I just bounce out. Like, I immediately just be like, all right, I'm gone.
Sad. But it's not like completely sad, because what we have going today is we have a special guest with us today. We normally have special guests, but this one's pretty awesome because he's an audio engineer, a producer, an all-around entrepreneur. Given that he's in the studio right now, he never stops working. Work with the likes of Big Bad Kab, friend of the show, Kevin Gates, KenTheMan, Beat King, Slim Thug, and another friend of the show, one of our special friends, K-Dog, bitch. You got to say the bitch.
Got to.
This man comes to us today live from his studio, Bigg Cuz Beats, ladies and gentlemen. Bigg Cuz Beats.
What's going on?
Hey,
another good day, brother.
good to see y'all, man.
It's good to see you too.
It is a good day.
What are you working on?
Man, I actually just left the studio with Broadcast Houston. They did an interview on me. And right now I'm actually working on some stuff for Sally Sosa. I don't know if y'all familiar with who she is, but she's definitely gonna be making some noise in a minute.
Oh, okay.
She's with Interscope, and they about to, blow that thing up. So, you're gonna see it everywhere. So
now that's interesting because you've been doing this for a while, but you're starting to reap a lot of the benefits. You're getting a lot more attention paid to you. What do you account for that quick pickup? Where did that start to happen?
Honestly, when people really started tapping in was probably when I started working with Fastlane, because I was working with him real close, and he was like the biggest thing in the city at one point. So like, like that brought a lot of attention, but just, I don't know, just stand on the grind, man. Like I'm in the studio now. Like this is my home studio. So I got one at the house. I got another studio I work at MGE. So, I'm just staying in the mix. And I don't know, like when, as like you start doing bigger stuff, it just kind of like, other bigger artists, people that are more serious about it, they start, hitting you up when they, the word gets out. And, that helps.
So it just starts to kind of build up on itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, you're an engineer, you're a producer, you mix all this music, you're creating this soundscape for all these rappers to come through. but I hear that you started out rapping. That's
true.
what I hear. I hear you started out rapping. So tell us.
That is very true.
Like, tell us what got you started in music. Let's talk about the rap career. I feel like everybody tried to rap at least once, but your pathway changed. So tell us about the rapping, man.
Man, I started rapping when I was in high school, and I don't know. I thought I was live. I got a bunch of homies that was, you know, I don't know. They was really just all better than me, man. Like just looking back at it. And like I started doing beats because I had homies that was producers, but you know they didn't want me to. They didn't, you know, give me no beats to rap on. So I started doing beats, and I don't know. Somewhere along the way, I was a better producer than I was a rapper. And once I moved down here to Houston, I started doing audio. You know, so that's when I was booking sessions and everything. I'd open the studio, and like I don't know. That's where I found like. That's where my gift was at, and I don't know, I just left rapping alone. I realized I was kind of whack, so you know, it was better for me to just move on to what I was good at. You know,
What was your rap name?
It was Bigg Cuz.
Okay, as long as you kept the same name.
Kept the same
For
name.
sure.
It's an easy transfer. Now you say you came down to Houston. You came down from Chicago, right?
Yes, sir. Born and raised.
Okay, so born and raised in Chicago, and Chicago has its own music scene and everything, and that has blown up. What made you decide to make the move down to Houston?
Man, my mom moved down here first, and I came down here to visit her, and I found this the school for audio, HCC, and I was like, yo, this is kind of live. Let me go check this out, and I just ended up staying here, man.
Okay.
And
okay.
Houston just showed me a lot of love. Like I love Chicago to death, man, but like that. Houston is home, man. It's where I'm gonna live at, you know. But I still visit all the time, so you know, it's whatever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What are some of the big differences?
You was at the studio off of I-10 at HCC?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the one.
I understand.
I used to be a Labmate up there, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. I was saying, like, I'm live, man. I've been live for a minute, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I understand. A lot of people. That's the funny thing is a lot of like people nowadays who are coming up in Houston, as far as the music scene, all were trapping out of that studio at a point. There's got to be like,
exactly.
Yeah,
hell, I'll make it a documentary on that because golly, there's so
Facts,
many.
man.
A lot of producers came through there.
Yeah,
come on, like you right, like. There's somewhere in there's a story, man, because it's been some like big dogs that came through HCC for sure.
Yes,
definitely.
Now, what was
like? Shout out to the homie Chill Will, your RIP.
Yeah,
but, you know, I know him through HCC. That's actually why I met him at, man.
Okay.
So like me and him got a lot of history. Like we've done a bunch of like music together just over the years because we end up in the same spots a lot. Like we both ended up. We used to work at Guitar Center, man. We ended up at the same Guitar Center. We was both working at the studio on the South Side. I've drawn a blank on the name of it. My bad. But we was working at the same studio for a minute. So it was just like, you know, we just kept running into each other like just throughout the years. But yeah, shout out and RIP to Chill Will, man.
Wait, you worked at Guitar Center too?
Yes, sir. Right there on 45 and 1960.
You was working. Okay, you was working at the good Guitar Center, and you was going to the HCC over off of I-10 with that beautiful studio. You was living the producer's dream at that time, to be honest.
Yeah, man. Exactly. Like, you know, I couldn't discount the fact that it was like, you know, Guitar Center is really a cheat code when you know, doing music, man, because like everybody goes to Guitar Center. Even if they don't buy something, everybody goes there to check out new gear and everything. Or, you know, just let me go and check some mixes out on some different speakers, you know, kind of stuff. So it's like you run into all kinds of people coming through there, you know. So, like, and people are, like, actively, like, looking for, you know, producers and stuff, man. So just being in the right place at the right time, just in Guitar Center playing some beats, man, it's a cheat code.
Okay.
Absolutely. So when you so you're at HCC, and once you finish, so your goal this whole time was always like, I'm gonna be in music.
For sure. Like, I knew when I was 15, I wanted to be in music. I just didn't. I thought I wanted to be a rapper. I thought I wanted to be in front of the camera, you know. But like I say, just in staying with it, you know, I found what I was good at, you know.
Yeah.
I found my place in it. So like that's what I'm. I don't know. It just worked out. Like I went to this some kind of event. It was like a little showcase kind of thing, but they had like rappers and producers there, and so they had like rappers. They could, you know, they play a song and then they get critiqued or whatever. And there's like A&R, like A&Rs and label people, you know, on this panel. And this dude, Kevin Shine, he's still an A&R. I don't know what label he's at now, but he was like, man, I played one of my songs and I did the beat on it. And he was like, man, the song was all right, man, but the beat, you know, was cool. You might want to like focus on that. Like, you know, that kind of sound like that might be your thing. And so I was like, all right, you know, I just, you know, just took it for, you know, face value, whatever. But I really was like, I was feeling some type of way about it. I was mad because I'm like, nah, man, what you mean? That song was hard, man. I had some bars. What are you talking about? You know? And so just like in hindsight, you know, he was right. So, you know, if I ever run into him again, I got to, you know, tell him that story.
Yeah, thank
I'm
that
sure he
man.
doesn't remember, but, you know, he was on to something. Straight up.
That's a humbling thing, though, but that takes you getting outside of your ego to be like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and hang up the rap, and I'm going to focus on the beats. I'm going to focus on actually making this music. So, that, I mean, that takes a lot for somebody.
That's what I'm saying, man. I was still trying to be a rapper at that point. I was still going in the wrong direction. Like,
how long
dude,
did you continue?
I took a bunch of no's before, like, you know, I realized, like, nah, this ain't it, man. Like, dude, I rapped for Kanye before, you know, like.
Wait, hold on.
Yes,
Kanye.
Kanye West, yes, sir. Kanye to the, like, early on, like, Through the Wire had just came out, so this is his first single, dude. Yeah. But like he was still like popping because he was a producer. I met him at this event. He had the Rockefeller piece on and everything. I didn't know who he was, but my homeboy did. He like, hey man, spit something for Kanye. So we run into him. I spit something. He like, yeah, you all right? I'm like, all right, what you mean? Like,
damn. Thought you was killing it in these streets.
Man, what? I just knew this. I was like, this the verse, this the one, this gonna get him, man, for sure. You all right? That's what I'm saying. Like, I took a bunch of no's, man, before, like, all right, yeah, that ain't it, man.
Okay.
So what was the final no? Like, what was the one where you're like, all right, that's fine. I'm just going and making the music.
Man, there wasn't a final no, really. Like, honestly, once I moved down here, like, I started doing a lot better with the music. Like the people in general started being more receptive to it. But I don't know, I took like a year and a half to put together a project, man. It was just like, nah. And I, at that point, I started working with this guy, Double R, who at the time he was, I think he was with Columbia at the time, or just out of his deal, whatever the situation was. But it was like a pretty big deal, you know, that I was like recording all this dude stuff and doing beats for him and everything. So like that was more what I was focused on anyway. Like I realized like in that I was better at helping other people with their music, you know. So like, you know, maybe let me put a little more time into this, you know.
Okay.
So it wasn't so much that I kept getting those because I was pretty persistent that I wanted to do that. But like it was just that I started getting more yeses doing, you know, this other thing.
Doing the actual, okay.
Yeah, so I just went with the move.
So you're down here, you actually start getting to making beats. I mean, I guess we know about you working with Fastlane, and you're saying like that's one of the big artists that kind of picked up. How'd you connect with Fastlane?
Man, he was opening the studio and somebody from OTB, I cannot remember who it was. I'm terrible. One of them, like they came in the Guitar Center and I wasn't working there, but I knew somebody that was working there and they just like plugged me in. It was like, you know, I needed somebody to set my studio up, you know, and they recommended me and I went over there and set it up and, you know, we just started talking and it went from there. It was like, well, shoot, we need somebody to come run it. Would you want to stay and run it? You know, whatever. And at the time, I don't. I was like, I was working at another studio, but it wasn't really working out. I wasn't really vibing right with the people that, the guy that owned the studio, and the other engineer over there. Just, I don't know, it was a bad vibe. So I just switched spots, came over there, and started working with Fastlane, and it was just up from there. And it was literally like right after I got there was when like stuff started like really like bubbling for him. Not saying that I had something to do with that, but just like, I kind of got in with him on the ground floor, like right when everything was like, starting to pop off with him.
Yeah.
So just like me being his main engineer, like when he's doing these all these songs with other people in the city that are because as he's going up, the artists that he's working with are going up, so I'm getting plugged in with all of them. So just like kind of blew up from there.
Okay. And what makes you kind of decide, I guess, what artists you want to work with? Like, what makes that kind of decision go through? Where you're like, is it a vibe? Is it just they pay money? Is it just like what is it where you're like, all right, this is the person I want to work with?
Yeah, I get paid for it, but that's not why I really like get. Cause like this different from like if somebody just like they just want to book a session versus like me being like actually part of somebody's situation and really like helping that be successful. So when I get involved, like as far as that, it's really just the vibe with the person. It's not even necessarily that they got so much going on or anything like that. It's just we got good chemistry. We make good music together, and let's really make this turn into something.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say, it looks like, I mean, whether it's Fastlane or even some of the more recent stuff you're doing, like with KenTheMan or with T.O.D, where it looks like you're really invested in putting together these whole projects. Like, I don't want to just do one song. I really want to sit down with you and create a whole album. I mean, yeah, let's talk about working with like working with KenTheMan. Y'all seem to have really great chemistry. How did you guys meet, and what's that like working together?
Actually, me and her met through Nut, BIP Peanut Man. But he brought her through the studio, and she did a song with Kab and Trouble Fam, Psycho. So like when I was doing her, like recording her part, she was just like, "Oh, you trying to be my like main engineer, huh? Like you live, So I was like, yeah, I've been live. I do this, whatever. So it just went from there. Like she just started coming through more. We was doing more and more music together, and then like once He Be Like started taking off, it was like, all right, well now we got to get in there and like put a project together. So like that's what we've been working on for like the past 4 or 5 months. It's just really like getting in there, staying focused. Putting the project together. Because it's not easy, man. It's really time consuming, and it takes a lot of really long nights in the studio. Just piecing everything together, making sure that everything is perfect.
And yeah, let's talk about that, because it's like you can tell in the quality of the music, and you see the like I've seen interviews with you where you guys are talking about putting together whole projects. It's a little bit different than the vibe you've seen where people are like, hey, I put this song together in like 3 minutes. Hey, I wrote this, and it like just popped out. So I mean, like, talk about the amount of work that goes into creating an album from start to finish, because it's going beyond just the vocals that are on there. There's so many other things that got to be done.
Yeah, so there's like you have to. So sometimes a project comes together just from like doing a few songs, and it's like, okay, well, let's just keep rolling with it. So off of those first few songs, that'll give you kind of a vibe of like where you want to go with the rest of it. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of like honing in on like what it is that you want to do with the rest of the project. So like sometimes like with Ken, for example, we did a bunch of songs before we cut it down to those 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't know the exact number, but it's up there. You know, so like even just as far as like we'll start cooking up a beat because I make the beat right there with her. So we'll start cooking up a beat and she's working on it. And it's like, you know, just we can tell by where it's going, nah, that ain't the one. So, you know, scrap it, we'll start another one. So, you know, then we may get to a song and it may get as far as her like actually recording the hook or recording a verse to it. And it's like, nah, this ain't it, you know, scrap that. So it's like a lot of, you know, sometimes you gotta just throw a bunch of stuff at the walls, just, you know, to see what sticks, you know, and just cherry pick the best ones. And, you know, definitely with that one, with the response that it's getting, you know, people are like, just looking at the numbers is really even all the way through. So it's like people are really like listening to the whole project, you know? So it's like, you know, I don't know. I feel like we did it the right way doing it like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I guess how long have you been in Houston?
Since 2009.
Oh, okay. So you've been here for a while.
Yeah, I've been here for a minute.
But when you talk about, I guess, those different worlds of the Houston music scene and the Chicago music scene, what are some of the major differences, given that you were working in both?
Oh, man. So, like, when I first came down here, the biggest thing was, like Chicago, like I said, Kanye was, like, this was, like, the height of Kanye or whatever. So, like, hip-hop up there wasn't real, like, 808 like influence. Like there were 808s, but they do them different, you know, up there up north versus down here. Like they got a lot more bottom to them. They're a little simpler at times, like, you know, because it's more about the vibe versus like all the technical stuff that you can do with this 808. Mm-hmm. So like, you know, I had to just something as simple as the 808 just had to like get reprogrammed to like how music sounds down here, you know, because it's the other side of the country, you know, it's a whole different part of the country, you know, so, you know, everything is different down here. The music sounds different. It feels different. It, you know, how the vibe when they're listening to it is different, you know, so, you know, you just got to retrain your ear for that.
Okay.
So I will say there was a transition period where like I was trying to figure that out, where my beats weren't the greatest in my opinion. But you know, they was getting some traction. But like once I finally got it down, you know.
So there was like a little bit of a culture shock type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Bringing Chicago beats down here.
Yeah, man.
So when we talk about you did your stuff with so you got a project with KenTheMan, all right. Mm-hmm. What about working with T.O.D, where you're talking about T.O.D? What about them attracts you to that project?
Because their music is way outside of my comfort zone.
Okay.
It's like as far as production. So like every time I work with them, it's like it's like me having to like push my abilities, you know, to the max. Because it's like, you know, I'm not like their stuff is more bubbly, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like having to get into that space with it, you know, like we definitely had to do some studying. And of course, like, again, it's the same thing. Like I make the beats right there with them. So they're able to like kind of give me input as far as like where they want to go with it. So like, especially with Tally, with her being a singer, like she'll have melodies already that she wants to put in there, you know, so she'll just hum it or whatever. And I just, you know, convert that to whatever instrument it is that, you know, that I'm playing and just flip it like that. And then at the same time, they're super open to like come in to, you know, my side. So like, obviously the production, it doesn't sound like some of the other stuff, like, cause it has like my influence to it. So it's just like, we found a nice middle ground to it, you know?
Okay. Wow. And then in terms of like success, just reaping like some of those rewards, when you say like for the 304, when you saw it was it got like 3 million streams in 7 days?
3.5.
3.5 million streams in 7 days.
Congratulations, bro.
Congratulations on that, for real. So what is that like? I mean, one, when you released it, did you feel like this is it? Like, this is gonna be the one. This is getting 3 million streams, or was it a shock?
So I knew that it was gonna do well, but I didn't think it was gonna do like it's been doing.
Yeah.
It's definitely gone like over all of our expectations, you know. So like when it hit number 9, like that was way higher than where, you know, any of us were even. We were just hoping to be on the chart somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
So being top 10 is just like, whoa, that's crazy, you know. And especially like when you look at the people right above her on the chart and right up under her, like all of them got deals. Every single one of them. Like there's not one single independent, you know, that was out at that time, you know, anywhere near her. So it's just like, you know, that's crazy to see that, and especially for her first project, you know, first time up to bat, you know, like really a home run. So, you know, it was just
that's a big
crazy.
That's a big thing. You see Ken, and I know Labor Sound to rap a lot, but you would see, I remember seeing Ken like doing Thriller videos, like, and she's putting videos up and things like that. So it's always been a real independent. So your soundscape is one of those things that kind of help propel that out there. And 3.5 million streams in 7 days is incredible from an independent artist.
Come on.
Yeah.
And the numbers are still coming in, but like even still it's doing like 1 million a week, dude. Like it's still doing crazy, and it's been out for a whole month. So it's just like, dude, this is crazy where it's at right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what are your plans now? Where it's like, what other works, like who else are we working with, and what more can we expect to see?
Well, I do all of Mo3's mixing and mastering. I do most of his recording also. Yeah, so like everything you've heard from him since last year has all like been me on the mix and master. So that's like he did his project that he dropped last year in December was probably the biggest project that I've been like, you know, associated with, that I've done any work on.
I remember that was the one where you had Kevin Gates on it too, right?
No, so that song was on the project, but it didn't have Kevin Gates on it at first.
Okay.
So when they dropped it, the re-release that's out now has Kevin Gates on it, which is I don't know, last time I checked it was at 10 million views, but that was a minute ago, so it's way higher than that now.
Oh wow.
You so modest. You be dropping these numbers.
I think that's one of the,
you know what I'm saying? It got 10 million views, but you know, I'm like, bruh, you winning out here, guys.
Hey, I'm trying, man.
I was about to say, you're very laid back for the amount of success that you're getting when we're talking about some of the artists that you're starting to work with, and the fact that you're doing a lot of this just independently.
Yeah, man.
I mean, our show is in my humble opinion, but you're a very humble person. Like,
you're very humble. Pat yourself on the back, brother. You winning. Do it. Pat yourself on the back. You winning,
man. I just do the work, man. I
feel that.
That's all it is. It's just another day on the job, you know, and that's kind of how I just have to approach it, you know, because like I can't get caught up in, you know, like what's going on now, because you know, this industry is, you only hot for so long, so it's like you got to keep, you know, leveling up on that. So I'm just, you know, looking to the next move, the next project I'm working on, you know. So like Mo3 got his new project that he's working on. We're gonna see, we're gonna drop that and see how that goes, you know.
Okay, that's cool, man.
I got Big Bad Kab, Vocab 3 is on the way, so we just finished that one up.
All right.
You know, yeah, we got T.O.D. They got a new project that I did all of I produced everything on there except for one song, I think. So that one's coming soon. We're gonna see how that goes, you know.
I like that. That's a lot of Houston talent that we got
going on, man. Yeah, man. I just do the work, man, and then, you know, wait and see, because really like once I do my part, man, like, you know, I do little stuff on the back end, and, you know, I play my part in, you know, trying to make sure it's successful. But, you know, once the artist is done with me in the studio, it's really like mostly on them to, you know, take it to the, you know, the heights that it's gonna go.
Yeah,
you know,
of
so
course.
I just kind of play a wait and see, you know.
You
I
do a lot.
I try not to have too many expectations and stuff, and just, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the engineer and the producer, especially your engineer, when it comes to rap, can get you to the next level. You have a lot of control over that. But speaking of just not even just being an engineer, what hardware are you using as far as production?
Man, for production, I'm doing it all in the box. So I'm doing it. I'm doing everything on Fruity Loops for the beats. I'm doing Pro Tools for the Dogg. Like, that's where I'm recording everything in. That's where I'm doing all the mixing in. At MGE, we got the studio that I'm working in. We got a Neumann TLM 67. That's what we're recording on. And then when I'm at the house, when I actually do my actual mix, I'm using a Apogee Symphony, which, you know, if you in the know, you know,
Yeah,
that's Big Boy. Yeah, for sure. So, you know,
but
we
damn.
make it so it sound right, you know.
Okay.
We got these event ASP8s, you know. These are like vintage. They don't make these anymore, man. So
because everybody has Rocket. So I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, I got the small rockets. You know, I gotta use those for reference. Of course, you gotta have a small set, but like the I do all the heavy lifting on the events.
I can understand even with your sound, but you are full on the Pro Tools. But on your Instagram, I know you know. I know you know you're full on the Pro Tools.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's what I say. Like, I think I'm really good with beats, but I think my gift is on the mix, man. That's where I really feel like my talent is.
Now, also, I mean, that's where, because y'all are about, okay, you produce. My brother here likes to call himself a failed producer, but it is one of those things where it's like, y'all about to get into production talk. But I mean, honestly, let's really hash this out and just like, what is a mixer actually doing? Like, what's the point of having the mixer? Because you'll hear people that are in the industry that are like, yo, that song was cool, but it's got to be mixed right. This has to be mastered right. And it's one of those kind of unsung things that when it's done correctly, it sounds amazing. And when it's not done at all, people might just be like, nah, this sounds like trash. So, like, tell us what, as a mixer, what's your responsibility?
So the mix is just basically you taking all the individual parts of the song. So your leads, your ad libs, your dubs, like all of that, and just putting them like you basically getting them to where they sound pleasant to the ear. That's your main focus. Is you want to make sure that it's not harsh sounding. And then on top of that, your next step is, you know, making it sound good to where, you know, it's like almost like you have to elevate the song from where it is now to really just, you know, making it pop. You know, the engineers really like a lot of how great a song is on the artist, but the engineer does make or break it. You know, if like there's some songs I could play you. If I play you the before and after, that song is not that song. You know, before I touched it. You know, it's just like you. That's where you're putting all your effects at. That's where you're doing all your edits, all the stuff that really brings the song to life. You know, that's what you're doing in your mix.
Yeah, and for lay people, a lot of people, I mean, not just lay people, there are a lot of rappers, I mean, at least early on, where, you know, when you get into mixing and production and the bigger you get, this is a cost. The more this kind of adds on. And people started out, they kind of just push that to the side because they're like, I'm not going to get it mixed. I'll do that stuff later, da-da-da-da. And it shows. Like, you can see sometimes you're like, hey, man. So you'll see some rappers that's like, yeah, man, when I got it mixed, it was like a completely different song. Like,
exactly, man. Yeah. And it's like you can, like, that's why, like, you always got to, when you find the right engineer, man, that you can like really vibe with, you got to stick with them, man. You got to do your people right because they are such a big part of your sound. Like, even if, like, it might not even be that your engineer is, like, bad at his job. You might just, like, not vibe with them. And that can throw you off as an artist, you know? So, like, when you find one that, like, you got a good vibe with, you got a good rapport, like, you know, they understand your vision, like, you know, you got to stick with them. You know, and the same thing with the engineers, though, is when you know, find an artist that's, like, you know, that obviously they have the talent, but where you have a good rapport with them, or, you know, you have a good vibe in the studio, you know, you kind of want to, you know, like it's in your best interest to make sure that, like, these artists are, like, you know, are successful. You know, like, if you feel like you got a good vibe with them and they're, like, you know, they got they can, you know, that y'all are making good music, you know, you want to make sure that, you know, on the backside of that music gets heard, you know, because at the end of the day, we're part of the engineers, part of the music making process also. They may not be, like, the producer, but the engineer definitely has a, you know, a role to play in the music. You know, they share in that success of the music, you know. When Ken's music, you know, is successful, like, I have, you know, pride in that. Like, it's not my face on it, but, you know, that's, you know, I help, you know, create that sound. So, you know, I feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside.
So, now, what is that like too? I mean, when you said you were starting out as a rapper where you're on the forefront. What is that like now, saying, you know what, I'm gonna move back to the engineering and production thing, and it's equally important, but it's definitely a background. Like, what is that that difference, and which one do you prefer?
I definitely prefer the background, man. Like, I like that. Like, when I go somewhere, like, I can just go to the store and be a regular dude. I'm not, like, I don't have to be famous or nothing. You know, I can be successful and I can make money and, like, play the back, you know. But when I go to, like, industry stuff, you know, okay, the people that need to know who I am know who I am. Cool. That's perfect for me. You know, it takes a special kind of person to want to, like, to be able to stand under, like, people knowing you everywhere you go, you know, like, always being, like, front and center, you know. So, like, nah, I'm good on that. I can play the background. That's perfect for me, man.
Makes sense. You got a girlfriend or something?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, no wonder. That makes perfect sense.
And that definitely helps, man.
That makes perfect sense. If you, like, I'm gonna play the back, I was like, oh, this nigga got a girlfriend. I feel that. Right? Because ain't no other man gonna, I mean, for the most part, we gonna be like, I'll play the back. But if you single, you'll be like, look, I'm out here producing for KenTheMan, nigga. Like, I'm Bigg Cuz, like, for real. But it is what
no, I mean, even before, man, like, I was still playing the background. Like, it wasn't, you know, when I was rolling with Fastlane every day, you know, it wasn't like, you know, like, just trying to be seen, like, because, you know, he's the artist. Like, my thing is, like, he needs the spotlight, you know, that's part of why it's successful, you know. So, like, I can play the background. I don't feel a type of way about it.
I was about to say, I would much rather be successful and unknown than, you know,
exactly.
known. Like, people gonna be digging through your trash, like a TMZ type thing, dog. Like, when I see celebrities, I'm like, dog, is that's the life you want to live?
Yeah.
With paparazzi, man, I'll be running the people up, man. Like, ain't no way. I'm here with my family. Y'all gonna run up on me with the camera?
I used to want it, but then me and my brother, we were somewhere, and this is when it first started. We were, like, on the second or third episode. We're not really that known, but I'm just saying, some dude
really
was like,
we're not known at all. It was scary.
Yeah.
I was like, terrified. I said,
that dude
nobody watches this show.
I was like, oh, snap, how you know me, man? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Y'all gonna get that, man. Like,
it was super. It was a weird interaction, because I was like, dog, nobody watches this show. He was like, oh no, I know y'all. I'm like, how? How you know me?
Gary. Luckily, it was all love, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm like, I'd much rather be in your position to where I could pop in, pop out. We got to be on camera.
Yeah.
All the time.
Now, how do you keep your? I mean, as an engineer, when we're talking about the people that play the background that are filling out the actual music, how do you keep your name out there? Like you said, when I'm in the industry at industry parties, as long as those people know. So for aspiring engineers and mixers, masters, producers, what advice would you give them to keep their name out there so that the right people know to get them?
To stay working. Like, if one thing I noticed is that, like, throughout the years, man, you see the same people in the same places all the time. So the people that are working, you see them. You know, like, even when I'm in my own bubble, like, focused, locked down in the studio, I still see, like, somebody might just pop into the studio. Oh, hey, you know, whatever this is, you know, so like, you see people, like, the same people in all these same places, dude. When I go to other studios, I see the same producers, the same artists, you know, all the time. So when you working, you'll get into those rooms, you know, like, especially when you got some, when you talented, like, people notice.
Yeah.
You know, you might think that nobody noticed, but people are watching. You know, everybody's looking for the next thing. You know, so like, if you stay, you know, grinding, you stay, you know, perfecting your craft, people are gonna notice.
Okay. Now, let's say hypothetically, you bump into Kanye at an industry thing, and he's like, "Yo, I remember you. You still rapping? Are you dropping the rap album?" He's like, "Because I want you to come rap for good music."
I don't know, man. You know, Kanye said he giving everybody their masters back,
He
so I might
did.
go do a deal with Kanye, man.
50%.
Yeah. Y'all might get a little
I was so
freestyle
surprised
from
he
me
said that.
for Kanye.
Because people was talking about him because they're like, "Dog, you do the same thing that you talking about the record companies do." Then he was like, "I'm giving back the master." I was like, "Oh, okay." So
well, we'll see when it happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
we'll see.
But if he does it, that's live. That's legit, man. And salute to him. You know, it's just, you know, it is unfortunate that is part of the game. Like, when you sign a deal, that's one of the things they want off the rip is the masters. And once you give it to them, it's hard to get it back, man. Some situations you can't even buy it. You know, so, you know, like, for him to give it back to his artists, you know, that is saying something, because he knows that's where the money is, you know, in music, you know, which is why I would like, I always try to stress when people ask, you know, about Ken, that she is independent and I'm independent, you know, so, you know, like, look, you don't have to sign a deal to get in these places. Like, it's a bunch of independent artists out here that's really, you know, making noise and making a bunch of money. So, you know, don't think that you have to go that route. You know, it is, I'm not going to say that it's a bad idea for anybody to sign a deal, because if it works for your situation, then it works, you know, go for it. You know, but understand it's a deal, it's paperwork. So if there's something in there that you don't want, you can always say, no, I don't want to do that, you know?
Yeah.
And if they say, if you want your masters, you can go in and demand that. But you got to respect that they might say no. And, you know, it is what it is. You leave and you know, fight another day. You know, it's not the end of the world. You don't have to take the deal. You don't have to say okay to the first thing they say. You know, you can say what you want to say. You know, you can demand what you want to demand and see what they say.
That's a good mindset, because I mean, it takes a lot for people, especially on that first offer. You know, people get offered the first time and they're like, I don't know, I've never seen this type. Yeah, that's how they get you.
Zeros.
That's how they get you. And then the next thing you know, 5 albums later, you're trying to fight to get, you know, stuff back. So keep your try to get as much money in the front as you can and own your stuff. Essentially, that 3.5 million in 7 days, those streams, all that stuff is going towards YouTube.
Facts.
Yeah.
There's no label to get involved in that, to say, we need our 70%, our 80% or whatever, you know.
That's excellent. That's excellent,
Exactly.
man. That's a great. That's just great business.
It's definitely a good position to be in, and I definitely have an appreciation for it. And again, I say that just to say that, hey, you can do it, not to say never sign a deal, because I'm not that guy at all. You know, if the right deal comes on the table, take the deal, because it's a deal. It's meant to be. It should be beneficial to both parties. So if it makes sense for you in your situation, then go for it. You know. But
and that's one of those things
can't
where
get there without it.
Yeah, making sure, like what you said, beneficial to both parties. Because a lot of times when people are complaining about their record deal, they're just saying, yo, this didn't really benefit me at all. Like, you know, so if you get an opportunity to say, look, man, like it's a 1 album deal, or I'm getting something for this, you know, basically I feel like I'm getting something out of this. It makes sense. You don't want to look back 5 years later and be like, oh man, I'm in debt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you know, the other side of that is that, you know, sometimes when artists are in situations where they're in debt is because they took the large lump sum up front, and then, you know, the music didn't perform the way that it needed to.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, it's not, I don't know, those situations aren't always the label's fault, because sometimes people just don't like the music. But, you know, that's something that you have to be aware of going into it, is that, like, you have to play, once you're in the system, you got to play with the system. You know, you got to
play the game, man.
Exactly. You got to play the game. You can't halfway play the game. You can't, you know, get into it and be like, I hate it here. You know, like, you really got to give it 100% to get 100% out, you know?
Absolutely.
Because you got to think, like, there's every artist that you grew up listening to had a deal, you know. Not every, most of them, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I understand.
So, you know, it's like they're, you know, that is the music industry, is through the labels, you know. So it's not so much that it's a bad thing. It's just, you know, you want to make sure you in the right situation.
Yeah. Now, before we like get ready to get up out of here, tell the people like where they can find you. Tell these rappers how they can get in contact with you. Anybody that wants to work with you, anybody that's looking for new music from you, like give them all your information and what to look out for.
The biggest thing, you can find me on Instagram, BIGGCUZ Beats. But I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on all those places. Yeah, that one.
All right. I see you got the 3 million streams.
Yeah, facts. And you know, I got some really big stuff coming up. This, like, you definitely want to stay tuned for. Yeah, I don't want to speak too much on it. You know, it's all the way.
I mean, you can. We won't be mad.
I don't like jinxing nothing, man. So I'm gonna keep my mouth shut about it. But just know it's coming, man.
Well, man, that's good. That's good, man. We just appreciate you coming out, and we're wishing you a whole lot of success, because we see a lot of the stuff that you're doing, and you're bringing a lot of attention to the city. A lot of, you know, you're helping to flesh out a lot of the music industry side that we need. We need producers, just like we need these businessmen and all these other people coming in to help flesh out that Houston music scene and that Houston sound.
Yeah, thanks. And one thing I want to say real quick, man. When I was in Chicago, when I left Chicago, man, it was right at the beginning of, like, the drill scene.
Yeah.
So, like, the Chicago scene was, like, bubbling, like, super hard right before that, and then boom, it just, like, took off out of nowhere. And so I really felt like I kind of missed that scene, you know, moving down to Houston. But where Houston is right now is, like, the same place, like, a lot of similarities that I see of what was going on in Chicago before, you know, that music scene really popped off. So, like, I really think, you know, Houston is in a good place, man, and we need more people like you guys, you know, doing this stuff to build, you know, the media presence here in Houston. you know, because we need you guys to pop off just like we need the artists to pop off, you know, so that we have our own bubble out here.
Oh, yeah.
Because once it pops here, y'all got people from all over the country coming, you know, trying to get in touch with y'all because, you know, they know that y'all tapped in with everything out here. You
Absolutely.
know, so yeah, we need that, man. We need it all the way around.
Absolutely, man. Look,
You
man,
gave me something to meme. Thanks a lot. I'm definitely taking that clip. Awesome. And it's true too, like you said. Thank you for even the praise of that, because between both of us, or between anybody like who's in any type of entertainment industry, Houston is doing a lot. We've had the 5 straight summers. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Travis Scott, Beyonce, Lizzo. I'm forgetting names right now, but I'm just saying, like, we've had like Meg Thee Stallion. What's wrong with me? We've had 5 straight summers. So it's like come on, man.
Really up there, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and there's more coming. Like, there's more talent out here, dude. And as big as the city is, man, it's like, it's great to see like Houston really like getting back to like where it was before.
Yes.
Like, I really felt like with the movement that Houston had before, they really could have ran it longer. You know, so like with the generation now, like we're kind of like watching what happened before and like kind of, you know, trying to like not so much correct those mistakes, but like not making those same mistakes so we can build the city up and keep this thing going.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're just learning. Everybody's working together. It's a good synergy with Houston right now. The energy is good in Houston. And I'm just happy for everybody in the city, especially you guys and KenTheMan and what you're doing with, how did I just forget his name? Oh, K-Dog. Like, Pop Lock and Drop It. Played that for me. We was in the studio and he played that. So
that song is hard, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That song is mad hard. Once again, we really want to thank you. Thank you for coming out. We got Bigg Cuz Beats with us. It's been an awesome day. Awesome. In my humble opinion podcast, pay attention to us, people, man. We are the best podcast, and we're your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast that even he doesn't listen to. My humble opinion podcast, where the words aren't jumbled and the opinions, they're really not even that humble. Thank you, and good night. Bang.
Yeah. Man, look, we really, really, really appreciate you coming out, man. We're a big fan of your work. I like seeing what you did. I really am excited about seeing, like, I loved what you did with KenTheMan.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what you're about to do with T.O.D. Like,
same here, man.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that project because it's hard, dude.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And there's nothing else that I'm seeing out here that's really like on their way. So like that's really, you know, in my opinion, that's the move, is like starting the way, not riding somebody else's, you know.
I think that's one of the things. There are so many of these different branches of hip hop music in Houston. And that's why I like to see where it's like, you know, you're seeing like, oh no, like if you like this, like we got somebody over here. And if you like this, we got Todd. If we like this, like even with Ken saying, you know, Ken don't rap like no other rapper. Todd don't rap like, you know, like they don't rap like no other rapper. Labor don't like a lot of these, they fit their own lane. Fastlane don't rap like. I think Houston really focuses on everybody having their own style, because people don't rap like each other too often here in the city. As you get in like other cities, I said, you're not gonna get that.
Dude. That's why I think it's gonna pop, because there's so many different sounds. It's not like a one type of sound that you can like just get bored with, because you know some say something is only gonna be cool for so long. But with Houston having a bunch of different sounds, like it can always switch up. There can always be a new Houston sound, you know.
Yeah.
So, like Houston just has so much upside, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, look, man, we appreciate you coming out. We are going to release this in probably about 2 to 3 weeks. We'll tag you on everything once it gets released.
And, you know, clip. I'll post it to my page, man.
Oh yeah, man. Look, we appreciate it. We appreciate anything you can do. And you know, just thank you for coming out, man.
No, thank you. Y'all be safe, man.
All right, y'all be safe too.
All right, brother.